Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for Truth show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard, you don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart, yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for Truth show. It's a pleasure to be with you again. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff. And soon we'll have the holidays. We'll have a new year coming in. So we brought you a holiday show. A show that's full of spirit, what's better than music, and a very special guest that we're very lucky to have. And I want to mention something before we start the show, that the Surgeon General, the top scientific entity in healthcare in the country, said that we have an epidemic of loneliness and isolation. So let's actually bring harmony and social interaction, family and friends together during these holidays, because he told us that it will decrease physical and mental disease and increase well-being. Check that out. Don't take my word for it. The Surgeon General Advisory on Loneliness and Isolation. It's online. And without further ado, engineer, let's put on the pictures of our special guest, Reggie Pittman. There you go. A renowned, talented composer, arranger, and a professional musician. Over 30 years, he's been living, performing, and recording in the last 20 years in the New York area. And he's performed and recorded with well-known artists and bands such as Babyface, Lionel Hampton, and Jaime's Jazz Band. Pittman's love for music began in Cleveland, where at a young age he played trumpet and piano and developed his talent. As his love for the performing arts developed, he decided to go further to Kent State, where he got his bachelor's degree and then a master's in music technology at NYU. He's an accomplished producer, having created the music for Poet I Am, an artistic collaboration with poet, lyricist, performer Little Porch. As a board member of 100 Black Men of New York City and a Grammy Award winner, Mr. Pittman is one of the most demand musicians, trumpeter in the New York City metro area, having performed on national TV, Broadway, many jazz and gospel and R&B artists. His band specialized in jazz, R&B, and like we said, gospel. And amazingly enough, I have no idea how he finds the time, but he's also a real estate investor, an advocate for prosthetic holistic healthcare, and he holds a teaching certificate in New York, New Jersey, and Ohio. And really, I could go on, but he's been nominated for a Tony Award, and his jazz band, the Reggie Pittman Lauren Daniels Quartet, has been received so much acclaim, and especially in the jazz press for their 2010 release, Point A to Point A. And recently on their new release, My Lessons. So Buddha, let's bring him up live. And Britta Boer, welcome to A Time for Truth, to Reggie Pittman.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Fialkoff. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I got to tell you, I had to cut out a lot of things.
Yes.
Because,
well, that sounds nice. I mean, I never heard. It's rare that I hear all of my life.
It's an amazing thing, and
It's a great thing.
and I was going to show the people something about you, but I really thought we'd start this show since it's the holiday season, and Reggie agreed to give you a holiday gift. He was going to just play something for you at the beginning. So
Okay,
whatever you
so
decide.
I'll play a holiday song that's part of Christmas. I'll tell you what the name of it, or you'll tell me what the name of it is.
Name
that tune.
Okay.
But in about 88 notes.
Okay.
Hey.
Wow.
So that is called
Let It Snow.
Let It Snow. Yes. And thank God it's not snowing. So that's good.
That's right. Not before our show. But I love that song. I love it. It brings there's some special emotion that it seems to exude.
Yes, it makes the season more exhilarating.
Oh, it's beautiful.
During the holidays.
Well, I want to ask you a question.
Of course.
So I see it's amazing talent. So when you were young, was it something that just like you were 3 or 4 and then boom, it was music? Or tell us a little bit about your young age with
So growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, my mother is a piano player, so God rest her soul, and I'm the youngest of 5. So she bought a piano when I was 4, and before that she was playing just at church. And what happened was she made all 5 of us, start taking piano lessons.
Okay.
And being that I was the youngest, I started at 4. My sister was 13, and then the other 3 were in between that. And since I started so young, I had a longer amount of time in the house where she made me practice, So I'd be sitting at the piano crying, trying to go outside. She said, no, you got to play at least a half hour or hour. And I thank her every day now for, giving me that opportunity and discipline. It's a very disciplined thing.
Absolutely. Mother is very important. Like
Yes.
you said.
Yes.
My mother, I'll tell you a funny story later on in the show, but I think to honor her, what was her name?
My mother's name is Reggie Pittman.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, mothers have a special place. I'll tell you that funny story. It was in high school. She was after me and she said to me, those guys, why can't you do like those guys? I said, well, because they have that. That's just the way they are, and I'm not that way. And she said to me, no, that's not true. She goes, the only problem you have is you see that chair over there?
Okay.
You got to put your rear end over there. And she said other words in Spanish.
Of course.
And you just have to be willing to be able to put it there and study. And I got to thank her. Her name was Raquel, because she actually got me to where I am as a surgeon years later, So
yeah, Raquel and Marguerite would have gotten along great.
they would have loved talking,
Yeah,
right?
they'd have loved it.
I would have loved it. So
Yeah.
I was going to ask you a question. So Cleveland,
Yes.
and I've been in Cleveland. Cleveland's
Okay.
a little mellow, very mellow place.
Yes.
And now you come to New York
Much
City.
slower than New York. Yes.
Very, very mellow.
Mhm.
I like that. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
But now you come to New York City. What was that like at the beginning?
Well, I moved here about 30-something years ago, and it was really, the pace was amazing. I was blessed because when I moved here, first of all, I had a job with Lionel Hampton, and so I had a job with Lionel Hampton. So I moved here, and I was in Italy like the week after because we were on the road. So it was just a fast pace. I just got married. We were having a baby. I bought a co-op in Park Slope, Brooklyn. So it was a lot of things happening, and it was great. It was great, you know, and the rest is history, as they say.
It's amazing,
Yeah.
right? New York.
Yes.
I remember I lived in Connecticut. We used to
Yeah.
travel to see my cousins in New York, and when we'd come here, it was like total different energy level.
Yes, it is. Yes, just like Jersey. I'm in Jersey now, so when you cross the bridge, it's a whole nother ball game.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's great because if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. That's right.
It's so true, you know.
Yes, yes, yes. It's
very,
great.
very true. It's a tough place, but rewarding.
Yes, it is tough.
I wanted to ask you, how is it so that then you meet Lauren Daniels? How does that happen?
So Lauren is a piano player. He's my partner, and the way we met was in a classroom. Out of all the places, so we were in a classroom. So what happened was I was asked to teach a class in Teaneck, and I'm still over there. And Lauren came in, and I was teaching a choir. So I was sitting at the piano playing and singing. And Lauren came in, and I was teaching the class, and I was kind of sweating. And and he just sat down and started playing the piano because he knew I played trumpet. And he said, the lesson today is going to be about musicians. And I looked at the guy like, who is this guy? And it was love after that, man, a musical love. So he just came in and just kind of made everything nice and smooth. And we've been recording and been playing together for probably close to 20 years now. Ooh, I didn't realize it was that long. Yeah, close to 20 years. So that's how we met.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
It's that, you know, it's interesting how in life certain things just happen.
Yes.
And they flow, and it's like it was that stage of the movie, you know, that act 2 is coming in now.
Yes, and everything we really want is right at our fingertips. I think people always try to find this or find that person or find this job, but all we have to do is kind of look inside and it'll come to us. And that's a hard thing to kind of really grasp, but it's, you know, you don't have to look very far, you know?
Well, I know one of the things that the viewers probably telling me, come on, Dr. Fialkoff, ask him, because I want to do well in this, or I want to do well in that, and you've got him right in front of you there. Please, what are you going to ask? So what you just spoke about is a very important thing. So what tip would you give the viewers watching this on what you just mentioned? Because you kind of like briefly went over it, but when they're in the middle of things, what do you think they should concentrate on so that they actually do succeed?
Well, if you're in the middle of a trial is only a blessing in disguise, because if everything is smooth, then you really want to appreciate the end product. So I think the thing about it is if you're looking for that end product, what you want to do is really figure out how to get to the end and then just map the steps from there. So for me, coming to New York as a musician, for me, I wanted to record, I wanted to play, I wanted to do a number of things. So I'm recording, I'm playing, I'm producing, I'm doing everything, but I had a map, you know. The road map didn't go straight, you know. It kind of went real zigzag.
Detours,
yeah, it had a lot of detours, but good detours and some bad detours. But it was great, you know, it was great. So I would just say, figure out where you want to be, the end of the road, and then just map it out from there.
And go.
And stay the course.
Yeah. You know what you mentioned, I think is so true, because I found that I remember when I first started out as a surgeon, and I was trying to figure out what to do, and I gave certain advice that's similar to what you said, and I found that over the years, that having done, you know, like you do with really good music, doing good work, continuing to do the good work, and concentrating on, like you said, your goal, and then it's almost like you build enough of a base, and then you start just going from there.
Yes, that's exactly. So how'd you become a dentist? Like, you know, I mean, like, you know, I once I knew I was coming to a periodontist, I knew I made it. And, you know, hey man, this is how it doesn't get any better.
That you can't smile any better.
You can't smile.
You already got the music
hey,
down.
Man, yeah, you know, and a trumpet player needs teeth and gums, so you know, hey.
That's right. Well, you know, it's funny. It's a similar story.
Okay.
To what you had. My mother was very strong. She was a pharmacist.
Oh wow.
In Old Havana.
Oh wow. Okay.
Old Havana. And my father was a physician, and his name was Reuben. And so when I grew up as a little kid, like you were with the piano,
yes,
they had me in the pharmacy. So I would be on the floor playing, you know those little plastic army men? They were like
Yes,
the green
yes.
guys.
I had some of those.
Everybody had them back
Yeah.
then. And I'd play with those, and people would come in, and my father would diagnose them for free because he was off.
Wow.
Yeah, he was very humanitarian. And my mother had the pharmacy, so then she had samples, and a lot of the people in Old Havana were poor. So he would diagnose, she would give them a sample, and they'd go home happy, and then end up being healthy. So
Wow.
that's what I saw when I grew up.
Wow. So you started when you were a baby.
I was a little guy.
Wow. That's a good thing.
That's
You know?
that's what always happened to me. And then after that, to me, I always knew that I was going to do something. It was either going to be a rabbi or a doctor.
Whoa.
So I got to give you the joke on this one, because you know what they call the periodontist in the dental field?
What's that?
He's the gum rabbi.
A gum rabbi?
But it's so amazing how life works that I actually did want those two things. I had no clue when I went into this, but then I became a periodontist, and somebody said to me, Ben, I said, what? Do you realize what a periodontist is? I said, no, I have no idea. He says, you're a gum rabbi. You take care of the gums, you know, and that's your flock, the teeth.
Well,
But
that's it. I don't know about quitting your day job, you know, as a comedian.
No.
But I don't know, man.
No, I gotta keep trying.
But, I don't know, maybe.
I'm going to apply what you told me. We'll see. I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying. But I wanted to ask you, because I saw when you were playing, I could feel it, and I've seen other people play and seen similar, what is the message that you try to get across with your music when you're playing?
Well, it depends on the circumstance. So if I'm playing at a party, I want everyone to be jubilant, right, and happy. If I'm playing at a funeral and it's a family there, I want people to feel a sense of peace. So it really depends on the circumstance, because as you know, music can change the mood of any room, whether you're listening to it live, and it's best live. So what I try to do is convey the feeling of the room, and to manipulate it in a way where everyone leaves in a better state than when they came in. And I think any good profession, not just music, but any good profession, when they leave out, they should feel better than when they came in. I would assume that's the same with you, Gum Rabbi.
I try. Yeah, I just try to relax people.
Yes. Okay.
And they usually expect me to go over them, tell them things, and I just walk in. I go, "Welcome.
Okay.
So how can I help you? What's bothering you?"
Okay.
Just to get them to open up.
Okay, and relax.
And just relax.
Okay, that's the key. That's key.
Right?
Yeah.
That's key. But I wish I had listened to one thing I didn't listen to my mother about. She wanted me to play the piano.
Okay.
But I never wanted to listen to. I never listened to her. So
Okay.
I should have listened to her like you did. But
Well, I didn't really listen. I was told to. And so it wasn't that I listened. It was that I was told to.
a little more coercement.
So, yes, it was very, very influential.
Well, it's a good thing what she did. So I was going to
Yes,
ask you.
it is.
What? Because that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. What got you to do Poet I Am, where you put poetry and music together?
At the same school where I was teaching, Lottie Porch was working at the school as the drama teacher.
Right.
And she brought some poems in. And I asked her, did you ever put this to music? And we collaborated, and she wanted to put some things to music. So I wrote the music to it. We put our poems in. We brought it up, Pittman Daniels Quartet in, and that was it. It was great. So
we're going to have another show.
Of course.
Where we can maybe go into that, maybe have her here too.
Of course.
And then we can get other people to realize what maybe they may think of doing.
Yes, it's always, music is always flowing forward. So I have 3 young ladies that I'm producing now. We're just starting out. We're still working out a name. I said their name should be 21 because they're all under 21. So they said they'll think about it. But if we could bring them in too. So sure. Lottie, we have a lot. There's a lot of artists. So well, whoever you like.
Absolutely. You know what? I mentioned the Surgeon General at the beginning.
Yes.
And he talked about social interaction.
Yes.
But I think what it really expands to is what in music they call it vibes or harmony or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I've always felt innately that human beings respond to that?
Oh, music changes lives, right? So it can, a lot of, they say Einstein really discovered the theory of relativity because of the violin and the frequencies. A lot of things happen because of the exploration of music and how it expands into all walks of life. So, yeah, if you want some peace, find an art that you love, whether you're professional or not. It could be athletics. It doesn't have to be music. And just find something you love and make sure that you enjoy that part of your life. Hopefully all your parts, but that would be a good thing to do. Me, for music, is my daughter says, Dad, you would play music even if you didn't get paid. And I say, of course. So please don't call me and ask if that's, to just play for free.
Offer.
But but it is true. You should find something that you love to do.
That's right. That's very important.
It's very important, extremely. Makes life a lot more enjoyable.
So now let me get to your other side.
Okay.
'Cause you're a humanitarian.
Yes.
You're a community leader. So I wanted to ask you, so then explain, or like, how did you get involved with activity that's very important, 100 Black Men?
Well, the 100 Black Men New York City founding chapter started in 1963. I came in around 2004.
And who founded it?
And it was founded by David Dinkins, Charles Rango, and Bruce Llewellyn, a bunch of guys who weren't as famous as we know them now. They were just a bunch of guys.
They were beginning.
They were beginning. This was when they first started. So what happened was I was doing some real estate deals, and I sold a property in Brooklyn and made a lot of money, like 6 figures. And I was talking to my musician friends about capital gains.
Yes.
And talking to musician friends about capital gains is probably the same as talking to them about a periodontal disease. They knew nothing about it. So I said I needed some new friends. So my friend David Banks and Luther Gatlin were part of 100 Black Men. And I joined, and the rest is history. I'm on the board. I help with education, mentoring, health and wellness. A great group of guys. ohbm.org. Look us up. We're doing a lot of great things.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, and kind of went over it really quickly. So the purpose or the mission of the group, go into that a little bit, because I think it's important. I think one of the things we have to do in the world is appreciate how much life gives us all.
Yes.
And I think groups are important, because the more groups we have, the more areas we can coordinate and collaborate, because life to me is collaboration. So tell us a little bit more about your group.
So the 100 Black Men, our current president is Rob Brown. Past president is Aldrin Ennis. And so we have 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are education. So we want to make sure we educate our community about the importance of knowledge. Another is mentoring. So we mentor through our Junior 100 program, currently about 400 young people, either junior high, high school, and college age, mainly high school. And we teach them life skills, help get the college students internships, scholarships. I was head of scholarships for about 15 years. And then we also do economic empowerment. So economic empowerment, of course, you're only as strong as your network and your net worth, right? So we try to help people, and we partner with Moet Hennessy and a number of groups to give out grants for people to have for small businesses. And then our last one is health and wellness. And I'll tell my prostate story later about my prostate cancer that was over a decade ago, and how holistically I helped. So I help share my story, and we have a number of doctors, and we do a number of things that are very important. So those are our 4 pillars: education, mentoring, economic empowerment, and health and wellness.
Well, those are very important.
Yes.
Very sound. And the show is going so well that I can't believe how our time is flying. But I want to definitely want to get to something, to get your opinion. What do you see? What is your opinion on this drug, violence, economic turmoil that we seem to be going through in the country for the last, decade already?
Well, drugs is something that if you get hooked on it, it's it's a problem because you're no longer in control of your life, right? And the violence is, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is something that when you just play video games and watch certain shows, certain shows and certain video games, then it can tend to lead you to behavior that is not conducive to normal behavior. So I think that, everything you do, everything you say, everything you watch should be something that you realize that, it's going to affect you some way. Commercials, TV, so I think as far as drugs and violence, I think people need to be aware of what the effects are of both and how they interact.
Makes total sense. And, since we're on the show and we're going right before the holidays, we're getting near the end, I was going to ask you a favor.
Yes.
But first I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but I guess I figure since you play the trumpet, you probably know this, Louis Armstrong, when the Saints come
When the Saints go marching in.
So I thought what we do, if it's okay with you, we'll play this at the end of the show. Is that okay with you?
That's it. Is this the end of the show?
This is going to be the end. So you can go for about a minute and a half.
Minute and a half. Okay. I went to the Louis Armstrong Museum in Queens. It's a great museum. I highly recommend it. So this is when the Saints go marching.
Here you go. Reggie Pittman, especially for the Metro New York area for the holidays. Here we go. Wow.
That was okay?
I think that's over the top.
But yeah, time for truth, man. I made it, man. Thank you. Dr. Fialkoff, I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you. And for those of you watching, we hope you enjoyed this episode of A Time for Truth. Have a great holiday. Let's have a great new year. Let's implement what Reggie Pittman has said and the 100 Black Men about education, empowerment, mentoring. Let's make a better world together. Have a great holiday. Thank you, Reggie.
Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it.
This show was sponsored by A Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got. The world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet